So AFK Journey just launched today, and if you were wondering where all that AFK Arena money went to, well, now you know. First thing to note is that the game looks gorgeous. The art style is like an improved version of an already good product that they had in AFK Arena. The voice acting is superb, and everything just looks, feels, and sounds polished. Now, usually when you play these type of AFK games, once you've played one, you've kind of played them all. But sometimes, just like watching isekai, reincarnation, or regression type anime, you know what the premise is. But it's like a different flavor every time. Sometimes a company actually innovates and comes out with a better game. And honestly, just from playing the game for less than 30 minutes, I noticed a lot of improvements already. To start with, I noticed the changes they made to the equipment system, where unlike before, where you had to equip every single hero you have, now it's separated by class. So basically, once you get a best in slot piece of gear for a warrior class, that piece of equipment applies to every warrior class that you own. For longtime AFK Arena players, this is such a huge quality of life improvement. Speaking of classes, let's talk about the summons, because this is still a gacha game. To celebrate the launch, they are giving away a copy of every hero. That's right, every hero there is just by playing the game, eventually giving you access to the full roster. And just like an actual MMORPG, you actually have a main city where you can meet other players. It's an entirely different game compared to its predecessor, but built in the same game world. It's like if Riot Games actually made a League of Legends MMORPG by 2030, I hope. You can choose to travel by foot or use the waypoints scattered across the map for quick travel. Traveling by foot, you can choose to auto move to a certain location, or you can manually travel and you might be rewarded with treasure found all over the world with actual meaningful rewards, or just finding enemies to fight in open world like a classic JRPG, all while you enjoy the gorgeous art along with the dynamic weather changes and the obstacles you have to solve here and there, all the way down to fighting corrupt creatures that require you to work with other players to complete. And honestly, that's all good and well, but like, thing about these AFK games is combat is usually like non-existent. It's like boring. There's very minimal things that you can do in order to enjoy the combat in this game, because it's usually done for you. And the combat, as you might have guessed, does have an auto mode, and that might turn a lot of people off. Although they did add more depth to it, like being able to choose your character placement in order to ensure you have a stable front line to protect your main DPS, that is, until the enemy unit can bypass your front line. And then you'll have to adapt. But it's not just that, they added another layer to it. They also added certain obstacles during fights, like walls that melee heroes have to walk around, giving ranged heroes some type of terrain advantage. You'll also encounter buff tiles, like the double cast tile for example, that summons a clone of the hero you placed on it to replicate their ultimate whenever they cast it, adding an extra factor into the game's combat. So right off the bat, there is quite a bit of thought put into the combat, which is beyond what I expected from a game that has AFK in its title. I mean, I have to say, overall, I'm very impressed with the game so far, which is why I was pretty surprised there wasn't much hype about it. I wouldn't have known about this game until someone DM'd me to check it out and make a video about it. I mean, overall, as someone who usually plays Korean grindy games that take a ton of grinding to get to the juicy part of the content, it was refreshing to play an MMORPG that has that much meat this early, because I'm personally used to playing Korean grinder MMORPGs that take you a while to get to the content, because that is actually satisfying to me. But I have to admit, having access to all that content, all that meat that early into the game was actually refreshing, and I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And just in case you're curious, no, this is not a sponsored video. I actually just gave the game a try and I liked what I saw. That's just what it is. Anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Please like and subscribe if you like content like this, and I'll catch you on the next one.